there are so many companies which are today multi-million dollar, multi-billion dollar businesses, and they started off as just a simple community, right? Very small, simple community. Like apparently Zomato was one. Then there is Stack Overflow, which is a community of developers. You might have heard of Glossier in US. That actually was just a beauty blog, and a lot of people used to go there, check it out for new product launches in cosmetics, and now it's a thriving business. There's so many other companies like that. We can go on and on, that started as these very highly engaged, highly dense, but small niche communities, right? And it's just gone on to show how powerful a small community can be when created and kind of nurtured in the right manner.
First, what you need to do is to build a community is to form an identity for your community, right? Figure out who this community is going to be for, right? it, ask this to yourself and whoever is involved in the community building process. Ask questions like, who is it going to be for, right? What will be my community member persona, right? Once you have been able to find 10, 15 potential community members, uh, reach out to them, talk to them, and ask questions like, what are the things that they would find valuable if they were a part of a community like such. uh, and very important question, what platform should we host it on, right? This question should be answered way ahead of uh, uh, you know uh, of you thinking of building the community. After talking to 10, 15 people, like either invite them on, like, for an in-person meetup, small virtual event, or a one-on-one call with them, and just make them feel special. And also try to leverage and name drop these founding members to try to promote your community. So if you were trying to do this in the second step or the third step and trying to hit that 100,000, 5,000, 10,000 mark, I would say that keep looking at what are the main values and rules of the community. I think really investing time to do that from the start, because at the end of the day, think of this as like it's always building upon itself, right? So if your initial community members, exactly what Priya said, those 10 people become your cheerleaders, they'll get those 100, the next 100, right? And then those next 100 will get the next 1,000 for you. And they'll only come because of two things. One, if you're providing values to them. Second, they can see outcomes. How are those outcomes? Like, what are those outcomes? Also, something for you to think about is, one, it could be career related, or it could be something personal completely. Like, maybe they just got mentorship, maybe they got some advice that help them in their job. Now you see a lot of people incentivizing these initial members, right? So something that I really want to do at Creator Chart also is that I look at people who I've worked with before, and I'll be like, okay, you know what? Because you've been my cheerleader, I'm going to give you an opportunity to come work with us, right? So that could be monetary, that could be something else, because at the end of the day, it is a give and take relationship, and you only use the people who you can trust and build upon. The way I see monetization, agree with Priya, like the best way to do it is definitely sponsorships. Is that I look at it in a tiered model. So I've created for Creator Chart, I've created a pyramid where I look at a free model, a freemium model, and then a premium model. Something that might help you as you're trying to build your online community. So the free model, just to reveal what that looks like, is essentially all our content channels, right? Including people who signed up on our website. These are our social media channels, people who are our followers. All of this becomes like our larger pool. Now the middle one, essentially, Arjun, are people who ever pays for something or the other. And the third one becomes like our most premium. So these are the people, again, that I spoke about. These are the people you incentivize. These are the people who are the model members of your community. And these are the kind of people who you want to attract, essentially, right? And the rest of the people would probably be trying to reach to that level from a career perspective or any other goal that you might have, right? So this works for B2B and B2C is because there'll always be like a senior person from a great brand or somebody like an industry veteran they look up to. And I love using borrowed brands to help people, create very vibrant communities because then they know that okay, I might get access to this person. You have to look at timing, you have to be super transparent, and you have to make sure that you are sharing the value that you're providing each of these people in each of these tiers, right? Because they need to know why they should probably invest. And I'm going to use the word invest in your company or your community as they try different things that you provide them, whether it could be offerings, it could be a product that you're trying to build.
I have done BTech and then I became in HR. Worked in that role for about 3.5 years or so. Didn't like it. Didn't see any growth. Then I decided to pivot. Yeah, after deciding that I wanted to sort of transition into a role, it was kind of very difficult for me to do that because I did not know anything about marketing. So I wanted to transition into a marketing role, but I did not know anything, right? And I remember the kind of uh, preparation I had to do just to get into get into an internship, right? Marketing internship. So yeah, it was a pretty difficult uh, route for me, but a very rewarding one. The reason why I'm saying this is because I don't do these talks a lot, but when I read about pivot and read about you folks and how you folks have been helping such people, because having spoken to I think 20, 30 folks who wanted to transition into a different role, I think that's what intrigued me about pivot, and that's why I said that I really wanted to use this platform to share about my experiences, sharing my 2 cents, right? So I feel that community management is a perfect blend of your soft skills and your hard skills, right? By soft skills I mean you need to have a better understanding of the core principles of community building, such as driving conversations and keeping the community alive with content, right? So uh, like master the basics of engagement, right? Be empathetic because your work is centered around working with people, right? You are surrounded by people, uh, if not like in person but like virtually, you are talking to people constantly, right? And catering to them, right? So that is one of the skills that I would say one should have if they really want to build their career into community. And then for like core and hard skills, I would say you know uh, I think community managers uh, do a fair share of things into tech and data. uh, you know we work with tools on a regular basis, be it for um, hosting an event, right? Or promoting an event, running the show, right? Or even a platform for your community, right? Slack, Discord, Circle, or any CRM uh, per se, right? So familiarize yourself with those tools used in community management, and have a better understanding of metrics like engagement rates, churn rate, right? uh, Community sentiment, like how can you uh, improve community experiences through your member feedback, right? So that these are the two professional skills I would say you might need to become a good community manager. And apart from that, if you have not like tapped into the community manager role yet and are curious to get into the role, then go network with other community managers, join community manager networks. I've seen people securing jobs because they've spent months engaging in a community, going to events. I know a lot of people like that. So that really helps, learn about tools, strategies, trends. uh, if you have been volunteering at a community, showcase it, like put it on your resume, right? If you are a fresher.
Yeah, I also pivoted, and then I realized that I have a very simple framework whenever I want to do something, and this is something I share with all freshers or young professionals, even older professionals, because you can start or upscale and do anything that you'd like to do. Is that always create a list of three things. So one is the kind of brands you want to work with. Second, the kind of roles you want to do, and third, the skills that you need for each of these roles, right? So what I do is that whenever I had to pivot into a new role, I looked at the brands that I was interested in. Luckily, I was already at LinkedIn and I got a role and I applied for it, and I got through. But I looked at, okay, these are the brands or these are the startups and industries that I'm interested in. I looked at how many of them were hiring. Then I looked at, okay, what kind of roles do I fit into, which means that which skills do I have? Second, what are my interests? Both of them need to align together. And then I looked at the third thing that, okay, what skills do I need to upskill to reach to this goal, right? So I think Priya beautifully mentioned all the good things that we need to know, which is data, content strategy, definitely people management, stakeholder management. Then, of course, looking at how you communicate. That is also super important. And I think most important is a mix of what Priya also again mentioned, is a blend of soft skills and hard skills, which means that you need to know exactly what your company stands for, and you need to be equipped with the right kind of information before replying in a very empathetic and humane way to any community member. That's why they're on the community and they're not, on some random chat. They want to interact with somebody who's human, who's nice, who's empathetic. So something that I also did when I started my community management career is I replied to each DM as much as possible if they wrote in a very nice way. And second, I made sure that I knew exactly what they were talking about before replying to them, instead of or saying that, hey, I'll get back to you. Um, so these are skills, by the way, I inherently had. So you already usually know your strong suit. So I inherently had these people skills. Number one. Number two, I also wanted to see that, okay, how do my skills help the organization or whatever project, or if you're taking community management as a part of your role, what are the KPIs that help me reach that goal with whatever I'm doing in community management, right? So if you're trying to pivot into community management, love Priya's example that, hey, talk to other community managers, try to figure out what their day-to-day looks like, and then decide if this is a career for you. Number two, what you can do is honestly just volunteer. I went to recently an event, which is a startup or entrepreneurial event. Exactly what Priya said, love networking. And I really put myself out there to do this very consciously. I went there, and one of the community panels or social media panels, the person asked that, hey, who here wants to build community for their startup? And 90% of the people put their hand up. And who are the people who are the most understaffed? They are the startups. So you'll be surprised that if you have these inherent skills, like Priya already mentioned, you can just volunteer and say, I'd love to take this project up and see what we can do with this, and then see how you can make a business case out of it. And then very slowly transition into community management if you are not sure if this is the one, this one career or one role is for you. I think that's a very easy way to transition there. But again, like usually, I think something both of you will agree. People just care about skill set these days. It's not the pedigree you come from. It doesn't matter which brand you work for. All that matters is you do the job well, and you're happy to take this challenge on. I think that's mainly it.
What I have noticed is that people have now started gravitating more toward niche communities. Uh, Maybe because it's focus on specific interests or professional challenges. Uh, you will see that these communities thrive more because they foster genuine connections around common goals, hobbies, or industry challenges. One trait that you will see with those communities is that there's always a barrier to entry. And here's the best part, like niche communities often see higher retention and active participation compared to communities that focus on broader and less focused groups. The second trend has to be hybrid community model, where communities are strategically blending in-person events with virtual interactions. So virtual spaces for ongoing and scalable engagement, such as webinar, workshop like the one that you folks are doing, and then in-person events to build deeper personal connections. So the third trend that I have seen is AI powered tools for engagement, onboarding, personalization, and measuring analytics.
I have to talk about automation because of AI, and I think one of my favorite tools across at least all the Meta, you know, platforms like WhatsApp is the Meta AI. So every time you can imagine if you have a one long standing community chat going on, if I want to know something, honestly, the Meta AI is perfect to just like give you a summary of a certain topic and even tell you different insights that you will not find from Google, right? One thing that I was studying is the GrowthX community, and I really love that community because it is a community of people who are actually looking at growth goals, including entrepreneurship, marketing, all the stuff that we like, and all the different roles that really help businesses scale. And what I love about that community is that they were very clear that they wanted to be on Slack. Now, Slack usually is a very B2B sort of a tool, which means that usually businesses like to keep Slack only to themselves. While we're building communities and we're trying to be more casual in our approach, it's so important to keep coming back to it at the end of the day when you're building a community. That this is for a common goal, but you have to look at where your ICP or the ideal customer persona lies, and how do you attract more people. It's okay if there are 50 people, but they need to be really one on that platform, and two be able to leverage this for their goals and provide that value. While of course we need to make sure that it's helping our organization reach our goals, right?